During the Victorian age, one was very fortunate to live in a home. For the middle and upper classes, it was a sanctuary from the brutal urban life of most other Victorian people. However, even for these privileged families, they could still fall victim to serious harm or even death inside their own home. These dangers included the food they consumed on a daily basis. Welcome to the Victorian household foods that could silently kill you. Killer Victorian foods. Adulteration of food products during the Victorian age was all too common as businesses looked at maximizing profits any way possible. With little regulations or oversight when it came to food production, hazardous or toxic ingredients constantly entered the food chain, increasing profit margins for shopkeepers. Bread was a product commonly tampered with, and you were lucky if it was only potatoes added to your loaf's ingredients. At each stage of the Victorian food chain, harmful substances like alum were added to make bread appear whiter, use less flour, and increase the weight of the loaf. Chalk, sawdust, and even plaster of Paris were also used to save production costs and make bread appear whiter, which was a desired quality at that time. Though if you were a laborer eating 2 pounds of bread every day, or the average middle-class family of 6 consuming 55 pounds per week, this would lead to alarming health issues. Serious ailments from regular consumption of adulterated bread containing these toxic substances included chronic gastritis, malnutrition, rickets, and scurvy. Though if a young child was eating these same foods, they would experience constipation at first. With continued regular consumption of tainted bread, this would lead to chronic diarrhea and eventually their death. The color of food was particularly important for consumers during the Victorian era. To achieve appealing appearances, questionable and toxic substances were used to create food colorants. Lead chromate, a bright yellow color painted today on American school buses, was used in mustard to make it look brighter. According to one 1877 study, researchers found that 10% of butter sold was adulterated with copper to make its color more appealing. Copper sulfate was used in the production of bottled fruits, pickles, and preserves. Eating large amounts of copper sulfate leads to body tissue damage as well as harming the liver and kidneys. Eventually, continued regular consumption could result in death. For those having a sweet tooth in Victorian times, you could eat yourself to a slow or quick death. Green candy would be colored with a poisonous salt called verdigris, which was copper acetate, causing vomiting, abdominal pain, and diarrhea. Venetian lead or ceruse was also used in making sweets and other confectionery treats. Unfortunately, regular consumption of this substance could result in lead poisoning for consumers of these sweets, and possibly even death with prolonged usage. Deadly candy made national headlines in 1858 due to a mass sweets poisoning in Bradford, England. There, peppermint humbugs that were regularly adulterated with powdered gypsum or daft in place of more expensive sugar were mistakenly made with arsenic trioxide. As a result, 20 people were killed and over 200 others became seriously ill with arsenic poisoning. Even the wealthy were not immune to food adulteration. One study by a county medical officer during the period discovered that ice cream, a treat especially enjoyed by the upper classes, was highly contaminated. Cotton fibers, lice, fleas, straw, human and dog hair were just some of the noxious ingredients contained in ice cream samples they gathered for their study. Unfortunately, these substances contributed to cases of diphtheria, diarrhea, and scarlet fever. According to a famous study published in The Lancet Journal, an investigation by Dr. Arthur Hill Hassel in the early 1850s found 2,500 Victorian household products were adulterated. On the basis of his findings, the first act for preventing the adulteration of foods was passed in 1860. However, this legislation was minor in scope because it was hard to prove guilt and regulate food adulteration at that time. As a result, this act was amended in 1872. This amended act formed a solid foundation for the much stronger Sale of Food and Drugs Act of 1875. At last, progress was being made in the battle against household Victorian foods that silently killed thousands of people. Thank you for watching this episode of the Victorian Diary. We show regular episodes which reveal life in the Victorian age. So please remember to like, subscribe, share, and reveal this knowledge of Victorian times for the benefit of everyone.